This isn't even about our political beliefs. It has never been more obvious that the government, in big bold letters, is lying to us than right now. Whether you like Donald Trump or hate him, you are probably wanting to see the Epstein files, especially if you're watching this video or stream, and even if you originally voted for Trump or supported him, you're probably not too happy with how he's been handling it. A over-promising of, we're gonna let it all out, we're gonna release the Epstein files, it's gonna be amazing. You know, he promised it, over-promised it, and over-promised it, and sure enough, nothing delivered. What they did give us, though, was a completely useless video of what was supposed to be exonerating footage that Jeffrey Epstein had no one go into his cell, nobody did anything, he absolutely killed himself, and there's no evidence of anything else. And they talked up, they had footage, they had proof. Then they dropped said footage, and the story was very fishy. Not only is it not footage of the cell directly, but on top of that, it's heavily edited, has multiple cuts, and we see weird, suspicious things happening in that footage regardless. And they've lied about all these things on top of that, such as claiming it's raw footage despite having clearly been run through, I think it's Adobe Premiere Pro, multiple times, and being captured through some kind of, like, screen capture software, because at some points you see a mouse move around. It's crazy. And if you want to hear more of, like, a breakdown on all of this, I highly recommend you check out the channel we're about to be watching a video from for yourselves. Voidzilla/Coffeezilla. Really good channel. He has been making great stuff lately around this Epstein file thing, and I've been kind of addicted to it, but I put off watching this one because you guys have been recommending I react to it on stream. So I set it aside, and here we are. Much to you guys' request, we're going to watch Voidzilla's top 5 lies in the Epstein footage. I'm hyped to see what this is all about. Let's see what we got going on here.
We recreated Epstein's prison in 3D to show you the top 5 lies hidden in the government's footage. You can get the raw file on Patreon to explore it yourself, and let's jump into it.
Is that Source or like Blender?
Number 5, you're gonna get a video of the cell.
And you're gonna get the video of the cell. And you're gonna see for yourself.
Kash Patel, the FBI director, told us that this footage was of Jeffrey Epstein's cell, but it's not. Let's fly over to where Epstein's cell actually is. I've marked it with a green door. Down the hall, we actually...
Yeah. Oh my god. I understood that we were only seeing, like, a fraction of, like, the entrance to the area where his cell was in that footage, but I didn't understand how distorted it truly was. They really... Look at how much this camera has to bend around multiple corners until you can actually see the doorway.
Epstein's cell actually is. I've marked it with a green...
And somehow, only one camera, the one, that view was the closest, best view, the only camera working. Where is all the money that we're putting into America's private prison system going? Either they killed this fucker, or they didn't, and he did kill himself, and simply the fact that they were too inept to keep proper surveillance going at all times, at all main parts of the prison, is why they can't exonerate themselves of any guilt. That is hilarious, but also very sad, in a way, because now we're continuing to ask questions.
Door. Down the hall, we actually see a camera marked in red that wasn't recording the night of Epstein's death, which brings us to our next lie. There was only one camera.
There's a video of him.
No, not the actual act, but the entire MCC Bay. It was only one camera.
Deputy Director Dan.
Yeah, if they could have given us the footage from that back of the hallway camera, it would have been perfect. It's like, yeah, so right here is Epstein's cell door, and as you can see, no one went near it. No one went near it or anything. You could just release the raw footage of that. They claim, if I remember right, the camera was just down for maintenance, or that, like, most of the cameras in the prison don't work, which is kind of an unhinged answer on its own. Like, should that alone not be of some severe concern? Like, could there have been a prison shanking in that hallway during some, like, out of cell time, and nobody would be able to figure out who did it? Because crimes happen in prison all the time. Prisoners don't tend to snitch on each other because there's kind of an implied threat to doing so. So without surveillance cameras or eyewitness testimony, how do you find out who did the prison shanking or stabbing or choking or whatever it may be? In the case of Epstein, it was he supposedly killed himself, but like, how can you have so little surveillance? Like, even if it was a non-important person, there was no suggested conspiracy theory, and it was known to be a murder, like, how would you know who did it if there's so bad, the surveillance is so bad? Like, think of any situation outside of this. That answer alone is concerning.
Bongino of the FBI told us there was only one camera in the special housing unit, but that's not true. There were at least 2 cameras recording and 9 other cameras that were working, but not recording due to a malfunction only days earlier. Now, the official report says that recordings should have been made for about half of the cameras, but in Epstein's block, only 2 out of 11 cameras were recording. Really bad luck, I guess. Now, I should say,
it's crazy how so many of the other cameras that weren't working would have had a better view of what was going on. I'm pretty sure these 2 cameras would have a view that goes down and into where Epstein's cell is. This is the camera view that we got that goes around this corner, and then this is where Epstein's cell is. So we really don't get a good view. This camera would have given a direct view. This camera would have honestly given a better view than this one did. Like, this camera might, well, these 2 would have been bad. These 2 would have been ideal. The camera that, this is a 2-floor thing. But yeah, the camera in the back part of the room here would have been ideal, because that would have given us a direct view. It's crazy that, like, we just so happen to get one of the worst possible mathematical views that one of these cameras could offer. Like, they've got a lot of area covered by these cameras, and it just so happens the only functional camera in the whole area is the one with the worst view of Epstein's cell. Besides maybe this one. But even this one would have caught if anybody went through that doorway pretty clearly.
all the cameras were working before that, at a time when Epstein accused his cellmate of trying to kill him, and this was contradicted by his cellmate who said Epstein tried to commit. Epstein later got put on watch.
Yeah, people forget about that detail, that Epstein got some words out before he died and did not seem suicidal, but on top of that seemed to be very convinced that his cellmate was going to try and kill him. But hey, his cellmate said he definitely didn't try to murder Epstein, which would itself be a crime that would have gotten him a worse sentence. So, I mean, just take his word for it. He's surely telling the truth. He has no incentive to lie about that.
For this event, and we should have been able to get that footage, except the prison failed to save the correct file. Prosecutors claimed the footage contained on the preserved video was for the correct date and time, but captured a different tier than the one where Jeffrey Epstein was located.
It was only one camera.
Sorry.
Just a reminder, by the way, Trump was president when Epstein died in prison, and Trump is president now as we get all of this bogus Epstein file supposed evidence that there's nothing more to see here. Trump was in power when Epstein died. He's in power now, and we demand answers that we're not getting. Just saying. Worth considering what administration is in control right now. Keep in mind, just like Voidzilla pointed out, it's Kash Patel who's currently leading the FBI.
Deputy director lied when he said there was only one camera. There were actually 11. At least 2 were recording. Only 1 got released. And according to our own government's report, 5 or 6 should have been recording, but weren't. When the cameras were working properly, they didn't say.
Why didn't the Democrats release the Epstein files? In all honesty, I think probably because of Bill Clinton being on them. Maybe Hillary, too. The Democrats aren't, like, there are plenty of powerful people that are probably in the Democrat sphere that are involved with Epstein, and the Democrat, like the sort of DNC probably knows that in the same way that we all kind of know that. And they're like, we don't want to just nuke ourselves by dropping this. And they're probably really glad that they were able to toss that hot potato onto the next administration.
Save the right files. Incredibly unlucky. But lie number 3, there's nothing unlucky about it, because we were told directly that the footage we were going to get showed there was no one there but Epstein.
You're going to see there's no one there but him.
Right.
There's just nobody there. So I say to people all the time, if you have a tip, let us know. But there's no DNA, there's no audio, there's no fingerprints, there's no suspects, there's no accomplices, there's no tips, there is nothing.
The footage just directly debunks this. There are several people who appear in the footage the FBI released, and actually one even appears after lockdown walking up the stairs. The government's report at first...
That's a guy walking towards where Epstein's hallway is, by the way.
Called this laundry, but independent experts agreed, according to one analysis by CBS.
At 10:38 p.m., the report says someone, probably Noel, carries a bundle of bedding or clothing up the stairs. It's a rare instance the video does catch movement on the stairs, but barely. Let's see that zoomed in and in slow motion again. Several of the video forensic experts we spoke with were skeptical about the report's conclusion and thought that the video could be showing an inmate walking up the stairs. Authorities say this was the last time anyone approached his cell block until his body was discovered the next morning. Again, while the video does not contradict that, experts who viewed the video say the limited field of view makes it impossible to definitively conclude that no one used those stairs in that time period.
Yeah, we don't know who that is. The government's not clear.
The thing about the layout of this block is that there are so many entrance ways someone could have taken where they enter, go up Epstein's stairs, into his hallway, kill him, exit his cell, and leave, and that camera angle sees nothing. And they can fully, get out while never being in front of that camera. There are, several paths that you could take because it's a big, 2-story circle, and there is one working camera on the second story that looks down on the opposite side of that entire block where Epstein's hallway is on the other side of it. So, it's really easy for someone to approach, go along one of the catwalks or below one of the catwalks to avoid the camera, go up to Epstein's cell, and dip out, none the wiser. In that footage, we would never see them.
And there are also several people who are housed in the same cell block as Jeffrey Epstein, which, as we've shown, isn't visible to the camera footage we were given. So that raises questions, and so do the 2 prison guards who were on staff that night and had a view of Epstein's cell. Both were charged with falsifying records on the night Epstein died, specifically with them lying about completing mandatory rounds to check on Jeffrey Epstein the night of his death, despite a posted warning that read mandatory rounds must be conducted every 30 minutes on Epstein as per God. But they did not do that. Instead, they appeared to...
They typed it. They printed this out. They printed this out. Who drew a question mark on mandatory? Mandatory? Rounds must be conducted every 30 minutes on Epstein, number 76318-054, as per God. That's crazy, dude. There's just a lot about this that's that's just unbelievable to me. Is there a tradition that I'm not getting here? As per God? Is this a joke? What happened?
On Epstein as per God, but they did not do that. Instead, they appeared to fall asleep, according to the OIG report, and occasionally browse the internet, where one guard, quote, read a news article about Jeffrey Epstein.
No fucking way. Dude, the guards weren't immune to the interest that Epstein has consistently drawn. Dude, one of the guards was reading an article about Epstein and all the shit while he's dying in the cell, maybe getting strangled by his cellmate or some federal agent. That's fucking nuts, dude. That guy did not know while he was reading that article that that events were unfolding in the very next room that he would be reading many more articles about in the future in relation to Epstein. That's like a movie. If someone wrote that, CinemaSins would give it a ding. You're right. It is like a movie.
So it's just a total lie to say there was no one there but Epstein and no possible suspects. You have several inmates shown on the camera the night of his death. You have one walking up the stairs after lockdown, and you also have guards that just falsified records. But this all brings us to lie number 2, the second biggest Pinocchio, and that's where they told us we're going to get the raw footage so we know there aren't shenanigans.
We are working on cleaning it up to make sure you have an enhanced, and we're going to give the original so you don't think there were any shenanigans.
So yeah, I don't think I need to explain why this is one of the most brazen lies. We were told we'd be given a modified and the original footage. Instead, what we got are 2 modified videos because both were edited in Premiere Pro. Now, it isn't clear exactly what was edited, but expert forensic analysts who spoke to Wired said the footage wouldn't stand up in court, had 1 minute, no wait, actually 3 minutes missing, and now there are reports that the DOJ has the full footage, but just hasn't released it.
And a government...
Now, this is something that should raise a lot of eyebrows. The Department of Justice has been, in the past, been maybe Trump's most hated department in all of the government, because they have been the ones that have attempted in past administrations, and even his own of the past, to hold him accountable for the crimes he commits in office. and have investigated him and challenged him on many things. And so Trump, I'm adjusting the lighting really fast. Trump has basically decided to gut the DOJ and put sycophants in charge of it. In fact, he's not only done that, but he's gutted the department that oversees the DOJ and put his own sycophants in charge there. So we're several layers deep into Trump's filled these departments with swamp monsters from his swamp that are absolutely willing to hide the truth from the American people. Let's be real.
Government source is alleged to CBS News the FBI and other agencies are in possession of the full, unedited footage.
And that brings us to the final point, the final biggest lie of all, and that's a direct quote from the DOJ memo about what the footage even shows. And it says this, quote, anyone entering or attempting to enter the tier where Epstein's cell was located from the shoe common area would have been captured by this footage. The government's entire case is built on this lie, and that's why
the shape of the building tells you everything you need to know. All you have to understand is how the field of view of a camera works, and you can see like the design of the area. It's a big circular block with 2 floors. The camera can't see through the floor. You can just walk under the floor because the camera's on the 2nd floor, and it's not even looking at the side of the room where Epstein's hallway was. Like, there's no fucking way they actually tried to claim that you could see if anyone tried to enter the block. You absolutely, objectively, definitively can't tell if someone has entered the block or left. I literally just made that point like 5 minutes ago when showing the layout of the entire block. For those who don't know, by the way, SHU stands for Solitary Housing Unit. It's an acronym. It's basically the more politically correct modern way to say solitary confinement.
It's the biggest because their whole case for saying no one could have reached him is the idea that this one camera angle shows everything. But let's put Maxwell in our 3D twin and have him walk up the stairs. First, we'll put him on the left side of the staircase, and as you can see, you can barely make him out. However, if we put him on the right side of the staircase, you'll find that you can't see him at all. He's invisible from our view. So there's just obviously a blind spot here, which, by the way, the government already knew because they already admitted in it.
Like, they would literally have to put their hand on the left side of the staircase's railing and drag it along that railing as they walk up the stairs for us to be able to see it from that angle. And because the video is so blurry and grainy and, like, not very clear, like, it's possible that that could have happened and we didn't see it. Because the video quality is just that bad. And there are several minutes cut from it. Keep that in mind as well.
A previous Epstein report saying that this camera angle specifically was a, quote, partial view of the L tier stairway. So it's not a full view.
Dude, partial is carrying so much water when you can see like a few pixels of the hand railing of the staircase that leads up into the hallway where you will find Epstein's cell.
You can't see everything, and as you can see in this excellent CBS investigation, you could actually access this stairway and Epstein's cell from a doorway invisible to the camera.
But with the primary entrance here, the pathway from the entrance to the stairs is completely out of view of the camera.
Yeah, that's right. You could access Epstein's cell. Our replication of the prison shows the same conclusion.
Like, look, you don't need to be a scientist.
You could access.
You don't need to be a scientist.
The stairs is completely out of view.
Look at it, like you could enter, and I'm pretty sure this isn't the only entrance to the solitary housing unit, right? Like, couldn't somebody enter from around here and just have come through around? You wouldn't even see them there either. But yeah, there's an entrance right here. You can just go through as long as you don't put your hand on this railing, which just barely is included in this camera angle. Like, you can just walk along the side here, go in, and perfect shot into Epstein's cell. Who was Epstein's cellmate, and how, like, Epstein's cellmate really probably is the key to all of this. There should really be more attention being paid to that part of the story. He was alone? I thought he had a cellmate. Maybe before he went into solitary housing, because he said that his cellmate was trying to kill him, and his cellmate claims. But yeah, even though he was alone, though, like, his cellmate claims that he was suicidal. He claimed that his cellmate was trying to kill him.
View of the camera.
Yeah, that's right. You could access Epstein's cell. Our replication of the prison shows the same conclusion. If we have Maxwell walking from the shoe entrance to Epstein's cell, we can't see him from this camera angle, even though if we make the walls transparent, obviously we can see him, but in the raw footage, we'd have no way of knowing if somebody walked this direction. This painstaking recreation of the special housing unit can put to bed the top 5 lies from our government about Jeffrey Epstein. 1, we didn't get a video of Jeffrey Epstein's cell. We got a camera, they can't see it. 2, there wasn't just one camera, there were 11. 3, the footage shows way more than just Epstein. 4, we didn't get raw footage, we got modified footage. And lastly, there are blind spots on this camera. I mean, it's just perfectly clear, and the government has previously admitted it. This, of course, doesn't mean, I have to say, that Epstein definitively himself, but the government is only adding fuel to the fire when they put out statements that are directly contradicted by their own video.
The fact is, this video does not prove what they wanted it to prove, and they put it out anyway, and they over-talked it, they over-promised, just like they did with promising to release the Epstein files. It's our government right now, or the current administration, I should say, is in this, like, lose-lose situation where they made some big promises to get into power and people aren't letting go of it. They want this one fulfilled. If Trump's not going to keep any of his other promises, he better keep this one.
Best you can say is this is either extreme levels of negligence or deliberate incompetence to cover things up. The most honest thing you can say at this point is that we don't have definitive evidence for the night Epstein died, one way or the other, that has been released. The evidence we do have has been modified, does not say what they say it says, and all of this makes it impossible to know 100% what has happened. That is not a conspiracy. That's what the government's own evidence actually shows. Now, as I said, we'll make the 3D version of Epstein's housing unit available on Patreon.
That's so
it's a
cool.
Blender file along with a detailed look of how he created it. I should say the government's not exactly forthcoming about the exact specs of their prison, so we had to use some approximations using the photos provided and taking measurements where we could. But as I said, our conclusions match up with the government's from years ago. So I think we're on safe ground there. That's basically it.
God damn, I really love the work that CoffeeZilla's been putting in, because he's not like a dedicated political creator, but right now he's clearly kind of like super interested in this topic for good reason. And on top of that, I think he's already kind of a little uncharitable to Trump right now after the crypto scams Trump ran. People have already forgotten about World Liberty Financial, the literal crypto scam Trump ran. He ran a crypto scam on his own fans. The Trump coin, like literal physical coins he sold that weren't a crypto, but an actual golden Trump coin, he sold those too. A lot, like Trump is more running a business than he is being president. And I don't mean as like he's running America like a business. I mean, he's focusing on running his Trump media empire business and kind of presidenting on the side, if that makes sense. Anyway, folks, this video was fantastic, and I highly recommend that you go give Voidzilla a like, a comment, and a sub on the original video, which will be right there at the top of the description of this video. I love giving credit to good content creators who watch here on the channel. So go check them out. And of course, if you support my stuff and want to see more from me and want to boost the channel and help me continue to create more content for you guys, then please consider leaving a like and a comment down below if you're watching this video in the future. They are the best way to support the channel, totally free, and we're fighting a war against the right online right now. The right has the upper hand in every way. And they've used their internet presence to game the system and win over so many votes and so much support that they borderline culturally crushed the left right now. Like we're in a rough spot right now, so we got to start turning things around. Only about 10 to 20% of you guys like and comment on my videos if we're lucky. So if you guys could start cranking that up, there will be big things for the channel in the future. And don't just do it for me. Do it for all your favorite progressive creators. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell icon if you want to see more from me in the future. And follow my social medias, linked down below in the description, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, particularly my fan Discord, as I'll be hosting a watch party there tonight after stream of the new South Park episode and maybe the new Peacemaker, depending on if it's out yet, since Peacemaker Season 2 premieres tonight. I love hosting watch parties in there. It's a great time, so I hope you guys come check it out. You won't regret it, and you won't want to miss it, so hop on in. And of course, if you want to see more from me on other platforms in the future, You know where to go, to the description. And if you want to support me directly financially, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy some custom Xander Hall merchandise through the Streamlabs link down below. I'm a small creator, and your support directly helps to keep me going, making content, and doing this full time, so I appreciate all the support that you guys are able to give. It means a lot, and you guys are the best, so I hope, as always, to see you again next time.